So what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. As you can see by the title, Capitalism, Crime, Race, and Cops. Um, Yesterday, a friend of mine I got a friend of mine that said before, he's a white guy. And he called me, see what's going on. And we had a semi-race conversation. Because one thing that me and him do or don't do is watch a lot of news. So he's late to all of this stuff, right? So what's up, Ron? So he, he's telling me, part of his point of view, and I'm telling him like, look, I get your point of view. You feel like you got to protect yourself, but I also get that, people just get tired of being bullied. Edmore, what's happening? Cooley, what's happening? My bad. Mars, what's going on? And to a degree, he got what I was saying, and to a degree, it's like, do you mean y'all gonna start acting like we act in a sense? Like, I mean, because I told him, I said, all the being nice. Kenny was popping. My bad. Michael, what's going on? I was like, all the being nice, all the marching, all the religion, all of we gonna talk it out. We're gonna push it down the road. It's like, that's over with, bro. That's over with. What's up? What's up, Frank? And he was caught off guard by that ideology. He's like, so what happens if people run into my house? It got to a point in the conversation, like, I was like, who does that? Like, I said, see, that's the thing. Like, all I'm saying is, if people play dirty with us, we're going to play dirty back. We're not going for the high road. Forget the high road. And I was like, but we don't go around breaking into people's houses and killing people or shooting people. I said, I don't know where that comes from, but it ain't us. It's not a thing we do. And then I was thinking about something that I've talked about previously, which is capitalism. Prometheus was good. And in America, we act as though we say capitalism is a good thing. We're going to make money, blah, blah, blah. But we don't talk about the capitalism that does other people in. Because I was looking at a clip and something was like, the reason why we're in this position is social engineering. Capitalism is also social engineering, because when we talk about who owns the resources in America, right? And I'm gonna Google this, you know, let me slow it down. But I know it's white people, right? You know, oh, wait a minute. Let me look at this. Who owns the most US debt? Japan is the largest holder of US debt with 1.26 trillion in treasury holdings. So they beat out China. That's the debt, but what is the interest? You know what I'm saying? Here who owns who? Because this is part of capitalism. So who owns the US national debt? 6.89 trillion, 32% is US investors. 2.38 trillion, 11% is the Federal Reserve. The US government owns 27%, which is 5.73 trillion, and foreign investors own 29%, which is 6.21 trillion. Now the irony of that is what? So what you're telling me is citizens of the United States at 32% and citizens of foreign entities at 29%. So basically 61, close to 62% of the US debt is owned by investors. So people who want their money. Umar, what's happening? Man, I ain't even worried about that, Jimmy. I ain't even gonna get to that. I already talked about that in a sense. So So what's going on is at the end of the day, when we're talking about capitalism, capitalism was set up to for not for us. You know, capitalism wasn't set up for us. An economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state. So when you say economic and political system, the economic and the political system wasn't set up for us. The private owners for profit, you know, we know where that can go. So now when people say you need to work into ownership and get into ownership, you know, I understand it. I get it. But social engineering put it so that people couldn't get into ownership and that are non-black. I mean non-white for a very long time. Social engineering, the use of centralized planning in an attempt to manage social change and regulate the future development and behavior of society. Definition two, in context of information security. That's what to use the use of deception to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes. So this is where we at. Sue, what's happening? Melvin, what's going on? Appreciate it, Kenny. So what goes on is we want to play this game of, okay, if we can all be capitalists, which we can be, to a degree. But this is where we go wrong. Which groups? Uh-oh. So which groups own the most land? So, So now, America's largest landowners, Jeff Bezos and John Malone, make a list. The largest landowners in America right now, because I can see the Jeff Bezos thing because Amazon is everywhere. So you buying into real estate. But the question is that's not what I wanted to find out, which I already know that. I know the answer, but I don't know the number. Okay. What's the largest minority group? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Which percentage of white household are homeowners? 75% of white Americans own their homes compared to 70% in 1993. Okay. What's the blackest city in the United States? We're going to go with what? New York, Chicago. I'm going somewhere, y'all. Believe me, New York, Chicago. Wait a minute. Now they changed this shit. Top 10 cities with the highest percentage: Detroit, Jackson, Miami, Birmingham, Baltimore, Memphis, New Orleans, Flint, Montgomery, and Savannah. That's interesting. I can't find what I'm looking for, so screw it. But let's get to the board. Let's get to these things when it comes to, how does capitalism work? Torian, what's going on? You're more like who stole the most land, exactly. Hard Roll, what's happening? Chicago, AJ, what's happening? Stupid, what's going on? Man, I'm trying. Miss Witt, how you doing? So when it comes to capitalism, people don't want to take into consideration that, okay, let me X out slavery, right? Because then people say, my people didn't own slaves, blah, blah, blah. Well, at the same time, did you benefit from redlining? Did your family benefit from redlining? When I looked at the movie The Banker, what that was, the 60s, 50s to the 60s. So here's the irony of the 50s to the 60s. We're in 2020. So you couldn't get a loan for a house if you was black in the 50s and the 60s in certain places in America. So let me just roughly say around 1970, you could. So from 70 to 2000 would be a 30-year mortgage. You know what I'm saying? So split that in 10-year increments. So for people from 70, 80, and 90 could have got a 30-year mortgage, hypothetically speaking, since we're talking capitalism. And they could have had their houses paid off in 2000, 2010, and now in 2020. You know, now name the other groups that had to be in that. McDonald's does own a lot of real estate, but you know, they're kind of dwindling down as far as people going there. You know, all these other fast food chains are popping up. You know, yeah, I was saying the blackest cities. You know, the thing about that, Michael, and you know, with the Latino population, it's a mixed bag. You know, that's why Hispanic isn't a race, because it's three different races in one group. It's interesting to say when people say they're Hispanic, they can be actually, you know, more Native American, more white, or more black. That's three different races. See, we don't, you know, that to me, that's just, you know, just because you speak Spanish don't mean you in the actual same racial group. Y'all just speak. It's like being in America. We're all Americans, but we're not in the same racial groups. Hispanics are all Hispanics, but they're not in the same racial groups. So the numbers are inflated, just like white numbers. But that's neither, you know, that's not personally where I was going to go with this. But I just saw that and I just thought about it. So with the capitalism part, you got people who might just be paying off their homes, right? Or people who might have had it paid off, you know, 5, 10, 20 years ago, right? So now we're playing this game where, let me take that back, because my grandmother died 13 years ago, I want to say. So 13 years ago was 03. And she paid off the house maybe a few days prior to that. Hold on for a second, y'all. I don't know this number, but I'm thinking it. Hello? Hello? Yes? Sorry about that, y'all. You know, yeah, I'm sorry. 13 years ago was 07. My bad, Torian. Yeah, I'm off. I'm tripping. So 13 years ago was 07. She probably paid off the house like 4 or 5 years prior to that, you know. So that would have been 03. So when she got the house, it would have been 70. She got the house in the 70s. So somewhere between 72 to 73. So even with my grandmother's house, it was the same way. That's why I was going back to that. Juries, what's happening? You know, my bad, y'all. So getting to the shenanigans of this, because of my friend's conversation with a friend of mine, Then we talked about crime, and capitalism and crime goes hand in hand because the bulk of American capitalism is built on crime. Because see, one of the things my friend was talking about, he said people out here rioting, they looting, they burning down businesses. And I told him, I said, listen, did anybody say anything about the Boston Tea Party? America was made off of rioting and looting. You know, what I mean by that is people felt like they weren't getting treated fairly where they was at. So they came here and they rioted against the people who they tried to get away from. Is it the Boston Tea Party is rioting and looting, but for some odd reason, oh, that's great, that's being great in America. You know, the final frontier and going west, that's rioting and looting. The Wild Wild West, that's rioting and looting. You know, setting up, you know, and like I said, I can leave slavery out of this stuff. You know, going to war with other countries and stealing their stuff, rioting and looting. Iran Contra, rioting and looting. Vietnam, rioting and looting. But we want to play this game, you know, because we should always look at rioting and looting when it's not, you know, if it's non-white as a bad thing. And I find it interesting because when Indians was burning down stuff, the Indians were bad because they were burning down these people's hard-earned stuff. You know, I feel you on that, Prometheus. You know, they're burning down these towns and these businesses, and these Indians are burning stagecoaches. Yeah, it's called rioting and looting because you were on their property, rioting and looting and burning down their stuff. But it was all of a sudden a problem when they started burning down your stuff. So, you know, all of the crimes as far as, you know, financial crimes, you know, white collar crimes, the overcharging people, the you know, like the red line and actually, you know, inflation, or not inflation, but charging people over the top interest on racial terms. That's looting. You know, price gouging. That's criminal, but it's not looked at as criminal if it's done to us, right? You know. And the thing about the crime is, so what you mean to tell me is, you know, all this would stop if Black people stopped committing crime. You know, and I'm hearing that and I'm thinking to myself, Black people don't have to stop committing crime for crime to stop. White people could stop committing crime and crime will stop. Because the drug trade isn't something that Black people created. You know, and like there is no real criminal thing that goes on in America that's illegal, viewed as illegal, that is not a white dominated thing. Whether it's the drug trade, whether it's putting out hits, whether it's stealing cars. Because see, we look at people who steal cars, or these guys out here jacking cars, but y'all don't say nothing about you know, when they take a whole fleet of cars somewhere and put them on a tanker and ship them to another country or ship them to this country. Y'all don't say nothing when they jack a car and then all of a sudden they selling it to you in a different state. Y'all not saying nothing. You know, y'all not saying nothing when somebody, you know, gets a car and they put all these kind of things and rims on it, and then they hide it in the people who do all the detailing and repairing and the painting, they steal a car. I don't know what happened, and then you wind up with these stolen cars on different coasts and different areas, and you're trying to figure out, damn, you know, and people just out of money, don't say nothing. What's up, brother Moses? You know, right. You see holes in programming. I get that. So this is where we at. And I'm thinking about it like, okay, you know, because if there was no drug trade, you wouldn't have Black drug dealers. Let's just be honest with you. You know, but you want to talk about crack, but you don't want to talk about everything else. You know, cocaine is not a problem. You know, what's up, Counselor Murray? Right. Not many. What they're like 2 to 5% of the population. Ironically, because people forgot, and thanks, Counselor, and people forgot that you know marijuana. Marijuana used to be looked at as the gateway drug. That was in the 80s. It was the gateway drug. It was the drug that led you down the path of damnation. So okay. So now it's the gateway drug, but now you got these drugs everywhere. Now you got to think to yourself, capitalism and crime. If the government has all of this weed, how did it come up with all this weed? Just came out of nowhere. All this because the weed was illegal one day, and then it was legal the next day, and they got weed everywhere now, all kinds of different strands. Right. What's up, Melvin? Exactly. Fund a terrorist organization. Bucket, what's happening? So when we talk about crime, it's like, they got all these assault. Like, because I was looking at a cop, he's like, they got all these criminals with these assault weapons out on the streets. Well, I hate to break the news to you, but black people ain't bringing assault weapons in America. Black people ain't bringing illegal weapons into America. Black people ain't running around. I got them AK-47s on the low. I just got them fresh off the boat, fresh from Russia. Oh, yep, got them fresh from Afghanistan, fresh from Serbia. No. You want some of them AR-15s? I got you. I got the hookup. That's not us. So when you say all these guns on the street, you got to ask where these guns coming from. Who got the gun trade like that? It ain't us. But that's capitalism. Darren, what's happening? And looking at movies like Blow and all that type of stuff where, those guys could just do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Daisha, what's happening? Come on, stop. Oh man, Trent, they don't know about stuff like that. Remember when they was talking about the mafia was getting into it with the Navy or something like that? I think in Italy, so they had to make a deal. Yeah, probably planes don't go on the projects. But you know what I'm saying? Like I remember having this conversation with an older white guy when I was working some years ago. And that was when the war switched from Iraq to Afghanistan. And I told him then, I said, man, look, he was talking about war. I said, man, that ain't about nothing but drugs and money. He was like, what are you talking about? I said, what's going to wind up happening is they over in Afghanistan to get that opium. And what happened years later? And what's happening now? An opioid crisis. But the irony with heroin and opioids is, morphine is an opioid. All the pills that they got from the doctors was opioids. Where are they getting these pills from? Where are they getting the opium from? Afghanistan. And when I said the little thing, the breakdown about the national debt and who owes what, and it's like, wait a minute. So you telling me U.S. investors are owed money by the U.S. government? Because out of the $21 trillion, which by the way is BS, because if the debt is over $21 billion now, that means what? This is the interest that people owe. So 60% of it is owed to private investors. What are these people investing in? Where did they get their money? Nobody asked that question. Because if you're in pharmaceuticals, then that means what? You might have a hand in opium, but you put it in the pill, so it's different. Okay. All right. You might have a speed, but you put it in a pill, so it's different. You might have cocaine, but you put it in a pill, so it's different. But then let's talk about the people who it's the same for. Carl, what's happening? Yeah, it is, Emmanuel. It is. He said Big Pharma did kill a lot of people, but nobody cares about that. That's the irony of it, because we're talking about crime. You know, when people talk about crime in America, all they're talking about is black on black crime. Look, you know, and I've talked about this prior. When they say all the people who got shot were black, all the people who got murdered were black, I want y'all to take into consideration something. They're talking about their police department in a city that is predominantly black. They're never talking about the people who get shot in the suburbs. They're never talking about the murders in the suburbs. They're never talking about the breaking and enterings in the suburbs. They don't never talk about aggravated assault in the suburbs. They never talk about rape in the suburbs. They never talk about, God dog it. Thanks, Roger. Man, we're not good people. Oh, man. I'm trying my best, Roger. Thank you. You know, they don't talk about that. You know how you find out about crime in the suburbs? I've said it a million times. Crime in the suburbs have their own papers. That's how you find about crime in the suburbs. They have it in the paper. And few people read the paper anymore. So if you're living in a major city, you know, L.A., Chicago, Miami, like Houston, I don't know. New York is kind of different because New York is like a huge city per se. So all those boroughs are just kind of together in a sense. So I think it's different there, you know. But Atlanta, you know, what is it? Oakland, Memphis, New Orleans. What am I missing? Like DC, the DMV, Detroit. You know, those type of places. They only tell you what's going on in the major city. You don't never look at the papers outside the city. Kid got kidnapped. Oh, it was a heroin ring. It was a meth ring. A meth lab got broken into. 3 people got killed in a drug deal going wrong. You know, I remember, you know, where I'm at, they had a case with a police department. A police officer got caught selling the high school football team steroids in the parking lot of the grocery store. You know, but yeah, all the crime and will. Yeah, they don't talk about that. Appreciate it, JP. You know, so well, that's the thing. But the irony about this is when they say, you know, crime can be linked to poverty with us, but can crime be linked to poverty with? How can I say this? Crime is linked to poverty with us as black people, because if we go into richer neighborhoods, you're not going to see crime happening with us. But when you go into richer neighborhoods, crime happens with other people. See, white people still commit crime when they're living a nice life, a middle class life. And, you know, I don't really see Asians committing crime like that, but Hispanics, I've seen that. They still commit crime in the suburbs, you know. So we're not really like that, you know. So that's the thing. Like, the crime stops once you get a certain amount of money, or excuse me. So when you make a certain amount of money and you've gotten comfortable, because crime don't even happen in the hood like that. People, and this is the problem where the race comes in. People are putting crime in the hood that if it's 50,000 people in the hood and 500 commit crime, then 50,000 people are criminals. That's what goes on. Like, the police department know who the criminals are in the neighborhoods. It's not, you know, it's not something they're trying to figure out. They know who the drug dealers are. They know who the people who are breaking the house are. They know who are your child molesters and who your rapists. They know all these people. You know, this is why the racial thing, when people get stopped and they have these issues, it's like, you look like somebody. And I talked about that recently because I've been watching those videos. 501, what's happening? It's crime stop with my trunk pop. You know, and people don't realize people coming as people who are non-black commit crimes in black neighborhoods. I'm not gonna say they're the end all be all, they're the majority of it, but they're in there. They're crime interlopers who they'll bring their criminality to our neighborhood so they can go home scot free. You know, this is a problem, but we don't see that. Like it was like, you know, not to speak on nothing, and I said this before. When they think about the shootings in Chicago, every gang in Chicago, every gang, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, every gang has a certain celebratory day for one of their founders. You get what I'm saying? You know, see, you see, Deja know what I'm talking about. You know, Thug, what's happening? Every gang has a certain day that celebrates their founder or founders or you know, incorporation, whatever it is, right? What happens with black gangs is either you're gonna have a rival gang who knows us to get together and go shoot up the joint when y'all get together on y'all Founders Day, or you're gonna have a non-black gang who's gonna use it as a day to shoot up the place, and then it's gonna get blamed on black people. Ian, what's going on? Oh man. Okay. Appreciate that info. You know, what's up, Devin? Right. You know, this is where we at. So this is the issue that 20 people got shot in Chicago. I've said it a million times. How do they have all these shootings, but they never made an arrest? No shit. Because if you really want to be honest, you know, it's the same guns circulating in the streets as far as criminals. So if you can do all this forensic stuff, you know which gun is linked to which gun, which crime to which crime. You know if somebody used this with this person and used this with that person. You already know that. You know, but it is what it is. You know. Yeah, I mean, and not to mention, you know, even in the criminal aspect, when you got you know, when you got the rules where, how can I say this? Crime is interesting to me in this sense. They say criminals have a code, but they don't. And what I mean by that is that code is a racial code. That stops no snitching thing. That's when you're in the same racial group. That, you know, we're gonna let the streets handle it. That's when you're in the same racial group. You know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff that y'all think about in the movies with, you know, the mafia, the Italian mafia, the Jewish mafia. What's up, you know, or the, you know, Hispanic cartels, or we gonna do this, we gonna do that. Man, most of them people are in bed with the police. Is that, you know, this is why people in some ways are upset at a person like Tekashi 6ix9ine, because he represents that I'm a gangster, but if I'm around black people, I'm a snitch. But I'm still a gangster, you know what I'm saying? Because my people could view me as a gangster because I was just turning in black folks. I wasn't turning in my own. You know, I could be a Crip and then I could be a Blood and that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, just like when I saw the guys, yeah, man, they don't even know about K-Town, you know. You know, oh, they're not going to talk about that indigenous. It's not going to happen, you know. So when I think about race and the criminal element of it, I'm thinking to myself like, because my homeboy was talking, he said, "Look, man," he said, "if somebody gets arrested, they get arrested." I said, "Yeah, but you know what the deal is. If me and you got arrested for the exact same crime, we wouldn't get the exact same time. If I stole a car and you stole a car, I get 20 years, you get 2 years, and you know that already going into court. You know that as a white man going into court, you know that already." And he said, I said, "See, that's what's not right." And a lot of this stuff, when people try to make crime part of the issue, I'm just putting crime in the mix because that's the excuse people use. Because let's be honest about capitalism and race. people get richer in capitalism by using race. You know, oh yeah. But see, that's the thing. Like some people don't want to be on the force. You know, I know some cops. You know, and I know and it's the thing. Like, and I've said it before, and I say it again. When y'all see these brothers get killed, when y'all see brothers get killed by the police, when y'all see brothers get jammed up by the police, and when they make a police call and they say, you know, I need a certain amount of cops, even if they don't kill a person, even if they beat up a person, even if it's 20, you know, five, it goes from 2 people to 5 people to 10 people to 15 people on the scene. Do you notice when you look at those videos of people recording that, you notice it's rarely a black cop on the scene? This is how I know it's coordinated. This is how everybody knows it's coordinated. Because, oh, we need backup. Every time you need backup, it's not one black dude there for backup. That's interesting. I need backup. Okay, we need backup. Why? African American male. Okay, 2 people, 5 people, 10 people. And you're like, where the black officers at? See, I don't want, you know, the thing about it is, like, what's going to wind up happening racially is like, guys going to be like, I don't want to talk to you. What, you know, y'all send for backup. I don't want to talk to you, sergeant. Send a black officer over here too. Why? Because I don't trust y'all. If I get killed tonight, it's gonna be a black officer watching this. You know, he gonna go home with that one. You know, because you don't see this the other way around. You know, personnel dictates policy. Oh yeah, I get that. But they always on the horn with each other. They on the horn with each other. They know where they at. They know where they at. They know who's around and who's around, who to call. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So, you know, part of this thing with the police, and then people are mad that they should defund the police. Okay, they defunded education. They defunded the arts program. What's the problem with defunding the police? And because see, and other people think, oh man, if they defund the police, then what's going to happen is the crime is going to go up. I hate to break the news to you. One thing, crime has been going down for the last 30 to 40 years. But here's the other thing. When the police tell you that the crime will go up because they're not there, we're talking about cops. We're not talking about detectives. See, a lot of people get arrested. A lot of cases don't get solved. Just in, you know, people can't. You know, when you see these guys on the scene, they play stupid. I'm not gonna say they are stupid. I'm not gonna say I think they're stupid. They play stupid. These people will never make a detective because they used to playing stupid. You know, but it is what it is. So when it's talking about, you know, police and cops and race, everybody knows, you know, cops act different with different people. You know, the cop, like, no, okay. Do you actually think that the cops pull over white people, Asians? I can say they pull over Hispanics, but not, they don't go to the cars, guns drawn. If you know, if they got a certain stereotype about you, then they might do it. You know, then they might do it. Oh man, they got too much money going there anyways. You know, right? I remember that, Edward. I remember that. What's up, Ernest? Sam, what's going on? That's a problem. So you want to, you know, I can see it myself when they get out of cars and they act a certain way with other people. Some people, and they act a certain way with other people. It's like, okay, you know, see, crime ain't the issue. Because a lot of times when race is involved, and I remember having this conversation, I think with that same white homeboy some years back about theft. And because what was I? I went to the mall and got something. And no, I think it was the guy that actually worked security in the mall. And he's like, man, you always in here. And I was like, I know. and something happened. You know, he knew, like he knew I wasn't stealing or something like that. But I was walking out, and the thing went off, and he's like, and he had the bag, and he's like, he said, I know, but something in your bag going off. So he wasn't one of those guys that was trying to be a prick because he had saw me a lot. But something happened, and we were talking, and it was just off the cuff, just conversation. He's like, I know you're not trying to steal or something. I'm like, yeah, I know, I get it. He said, but people in here stealing it, and he said something. It wasn't racial, but it wasn't racial in the sense of it wasn't offensive. But I told him, I said, look, truth be told, if black people wanted to steal, all we'll do is get white people to steal for us because y'all don't watch them. And he was like, he kind of paused like, fuck, because that, you know, shoplifting is normally things that white people get away with. White people shoplift all the time. All the time. They go in there, they grab something because they're white. Nobody's paying attention. Even when they're on camera, most of the time security doesn't catch them stealing. You know, they don't because they're not looking at them. Well, that's what's happening. Yep. Right. But that's the thing about description. You know, the description. What about description scares a person? You know, that's the interesting thing. Tell my bad. What's happening? Like description is interesting to me because, you know, description just means I'm scared of this person or I'm not scared of this person. I can arrest this person. I can't arrest that person. You know what I'm saying? I remember they had the clip of the black dude. Was he in the DEA or the FBI, something like that? And they basically was jumping out. Royce, what's popping? They was jumping out on people dealing drugs and committing crime, I think in the 80s. And then he says, and it's somewhere on YouTube, U.S. Marshal, that's what he was. And he was like, okay, we in the urban hood, we in the hood, but now it's time to take this out to the burbs. And you know, we gotta go get them. And they told him, like, no, we can't go get them because then they're going to call their parents and they're going to call judges and lawyers, and then they're going to try to defund the program. And that's the thing about capitalism and crime. Like, even the police know, even the U.S. Marshal knows, even the DEA knows, even the FBI know that when white people commit crime, it's somebody that they can call to get them out of the situation, for the most part. You know, what is the white dude, pretty boy George, that was like a drug dealer in 16? Like when people think about Breaking Bad, because Breaking Bad was based on a true story. Nobody ever considers, you know, nobody ever considers the capitalism part and the criminal part and the racial part and even the cop part of America. You notice when you watch depictions of criminals in America who are not black, rarely do the cops come. Like they roll around freely, no problem. Cops don't, you know, they're not. You hardly see cops in their space. You don't see the movies like, oh man, and this guy's the, you know, we need to get this guy. He's the blah 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 blah. You don't see that. What you see is depictions of families passing down crime from generation to generation. What you see is people who could literally, you know, say, I'm running the whole organization. And when their organizations are non-black, even the people doing the dirt don't get in trouble. You know, they don't get in trouble. I can't even watch Ozark. That gets on my nerves. Right. That's why I can't watch it. You know, because when I watched Ozark in the beginning, when the cartel threw the wife's boyfriend off of the terrace of his apartment and he landed in the middle of the street, and I'm thinking to myself, that's Chicago. They're in Chicago. You can see when you're non-black, they view it so you can throw a white guy, you know, in the middle of the street in broad daylight and just, we out. Shout out, what's happening? You know, it's just, yeah, and So okay, but if it was a black guy, yeah, the white dude just flew over the thing. Like they never thought about getting caught. They never thought about getting arrested. They thought about getting killed before they thought about getting arrested. You know, people forget about that when he walked into the bank and he wanted to take out millions of dollars, and they brought like was a DA or some type of accountant, IRS somebody, and he was like, if I want to take this money out and take a bath in it, it's my goddamn business. And I'm thinking to myself, if he was black, they would have tracked that dude. When the white dude went missing, nobody cared. When the partner and his dad died, partner, dad, wife got killed all in the same night. Guess what happened? They just, where's your partner? We don't know. Really? Really? This is why stuff like that bothers me. I was watching Money Heist on Netflix. If anybody watched Money Heist, it's to me it's like Inside Man, but the people are retarded. Like, how you get caught but still don't get caught? You know what I'm saying? But this is how we view crime and criminality in America. Like, even when you watch Inside Man, you notice they use race and Inside Man to get away with it. It's rare that you see these movies like this and these depictions of people who are not white, because we can't get away with this stuff. You just can't get away with it. At no way, shape, form, or fashion, it's not gonna happen. But when we talk about crime, criminality, race, the difference to me is basically in the police. Black criminals know they could. What does a black criminal say? You're not gonna make it out of this game. You're gonna it's only two choices. You're gonna wind up dead or in jail. Do you think non-black criminals say they're gonna wind up dead or in jail? I've never heard white criminals, Hispanic criminals, or Asian criminals say, if I keep living this life, I'm gonna end up dead and in jail. Never heard it. That is something I never hear across the board. But that's just my, it's crazy. Right. This is a problem. It's a problem. Yeah, but she was, what I'm saying? It was like race and America and capitalism are interesting things. Very interesting things, because people think about, a white business got looted, got burned down, got destroyed. And I'm thinking to myself, this country was built on burning down black houses and black businesses. You know what I'm saying? So, now all of a sudden, most of the race riots in American history were what? White people who got upset that black people was making money. So they burnt down and looted all the businesses. Some of the money that some of these families got that are not your upper echelon or rich families, that are just families who just got it together. Some of those families are people who robbed and looted from black people. Y'all forget about, like, people try to forget about that. This is where we going. Man, I couldn't keep watching Ozark, man. I was mad in the mug. It ain't just Black Wall Street. We had hundreds of towns as black people. We had hundreds of places to go. What do you think the movie The Inkwell was about? So, segregation gave us places to go that we didn't have to deal with white folks, and they couldn't handle it. That's why I talked about the Marcus Garvey thing, where, they want all us black people to leave America. And then when Marcus Garvey got up the money to buy the ships, okay, we're going to get these ships. We're about to get out of here. What did they do? What's up, Zan? D. Weeds, what's happening? See, that was the 70s in the Bronx. Rosewood is one, yeah. Man, Alex Jones full of shit. Alex Jones is full of shit. Because a lot of the shit that Alex Jones just does stupid shit because he can get away with it because he's a white dude. He's just a white conspiracy kook nut job who's I rather the DW-40 is coming. They're gonna kill you. They're gonna have alien transmissions coming in your in your brain at night. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. You gotta keep silver quaaludes under your bed. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. He's crazy shit. That's the thing. Like, I think we just need to accept it. Like, if people, and we know people don't like us. That's the thing. Everybody who doesn't like us accepts the fact that they don't like us. We need to accept the fact, fuck it, I don't like you either. That's what's going to happen. I don't like you either. No, we're not friends. Yeah, the Idlewild in Michigan. I'm thinking Inkwell is what I'm thinking about on the East Coast. My bad. All that stuff is real. All of it. You know what I'm saying? All of it's been real this whole time. All this stuff that we playing around Seneca, what's going on? Right, Manhattan and Central Park were all, yeah. People look at it like that, but it is what it is. And I can't even, I'm not even gonna get into African history because it is what it is. The water's turning the frog. I mean, yeah, the water can turn the frogs gay, but water's gonna turn you gay though? Like, it is what it is. Like, I just don't get it. But we gotta accept America for what it is. We gotta accept capitalism for what it is. Because I saw Erica talking about this. I saw Glendon Cameron, the Kung Fu Hustle, talking about this. Because I put it up on my Facebook about a lot of companies are looking at these six-figure jobs. They're gonna start getting rid of people because of this coronavirus because they see people BSing at work. And I talked to my mother about this months ago. I was like, what's gonna happen? Like, your coworkers gonna get caught on that BS about the work that they don't do, and they're gonna get fired. By the time they come back, they're gonna fire some people. They're gonna watch you when you're not in the office. They're gonna see how you don't handle your business, and then they're gonna get back to the office and they're gonna realize, okay, these people has been covering for you for years, and we've been paying them this much, and we've been paying you this much, and you ain't working. You gotta go. You gotta go. Not to mention, they're not gonna want to. Some of these office spaces they're gonna get rid of because either they're gonna work a skeleton crew who can actually get the job done, or they're gonna get rid of folks. So part of this capitalism, part of this crime, part of this race, and part of the cops. We're gonna see what happens in about 4 or 5 months because it's gonna be a lot of people out of work, and a lot of high-paying jobs are gonna get scrapped, and that normally happens anyways. The older you get, they start hiring younger and cheaper. That's just that's part of capitalism in America. But see, what we have in this country where you could be incompetent and get paid and have somebody else do your job. No, Rosa Parks wasn't a Trojan horse to kill the bus lines because that was two different cities. Rosa Parks, that was the bus line I think that you might be talking about was in Winston-Salem. I don't think that happened with Rosa Parks in Winston-Salem. You got to remember, prior to Rosa Parks getting on the bus, it was a black veteran that decided not to go to the back of the bus, and they lynched him. That's why Rosa Parks was on the next bus, because the black man in his military uniform, who was a veteran, got lynched for not sitting on the back of the bus. That's what people forget. Rosa Parks was the success because if you lynch a woman, I think they knew it was about to go left. So that's, unfortunately that's what it was, but it is what it is. But I'm pretty sure, like, Winston-Salem had the black bus lines, and integration messed that up. What's up, Mike? It's gonna give a lot of people are gonna be out of work because of that. You know, that's the thing. The people with the money should be looking into that stuff. Like you got to give somebody like Kanye West credit. He bought a gang of land in basically rural north the rural northwest, place that black people don't normally go. But it's like it is what it is. Definitely gonna restructure the economy because people are not gonna do the same thing. Because that's the other thing about what Trent's talking about the jails. People don't realize this. They built a lot of jails and a lot of country towns on the outskirts of cities in hopes that they was going to lock up more brothers. And since crime is going down across the board, you're locking up less black men. So a lot of these cities who thought their economy was going to be based on a prison model, they're broke. And if I'm not mistaken, some of those prisons were bought by people who created the weed farms. So the irony of that, some of these privatized prisons that went down are now weed farms. That's where they that's where they're manufacturing legalized marijuana, which is hilarious to me, but it is what it is, but things happen. But this is what goes on. Thanks, James. Yeah, privatized jails is all prison. Thanks, James. Yeah, it'll be about production. Like that's the thing. Like production is about to kick a lot of people in the pants, because the irony about this is if you work in the workforce, if you work in corporate America, if you work in any type of working capacity where you have to produce, you got the big people at top who've been producing for years. Quickly, what's happening? They've been producing for years, so they up there. So when you think about heads of companies, you're gonna have white people on the top of that list who've been producing for years. But the people that they've hired under them, they've been getting by. See, a lot of those upper management, middle management people, they gone. They gone, and they know it. And I remember when they had that first recession, when they had people, working as pizza delivery guys and stuff like that just to make ends meet, and they went from a 6-figure job to working 3 or 4 minimum wage type jobs. You got to think about what happens when you went from this type of level, but you couldn't find a job near that type of level to the point where you got to work in fast food or something. Because it wasn't it was their incompetence that put them in that situation. Their incompetence put them in that situation. Oh, I know. But the problem even with the government agencies, there are a lot of black. Let me say this: there are a lot of black women in government who you don't want to talk to because they got bad attitudes, and that's why they don't want them to come back. But there are a lot of black women in government who actually produce. So if you let them go home for too long, you're going to find out that a lot is not going to get done. Because even with the women in the sisterhood, the feminist type women, they don't do work. They don't do work. They get their sisters to do it. My sister has got my back. My sister, woman power. Could you please go do that for me, please? See, capitalism, you're going to see a lot of people turn to crime that you didn't think were criminals. Just like when I was talking about the interlopers in the protest that wound up being when they started rioting and looting, like when they arrested the white dude for burning down a police station. I'm not surprised, but see, he was able to blend in. This is the thing. He was able to blend. He could walk in a police station, blend in, burn it down, walk out. So Yeah, I know police, they get a little power, go crazy, but they do work. I will say that. Some of them don't. I can't say some of them, the minority of them don't work and they just yell at people. So if the ones that yell and don't work, they done for. You know, so they done for. You know, yeah, I get it. Oh, excuse me. I definitely get it on. This is a problem in this country. We're gonna play this game. It's gonna happen all the way. So all these other groups who I wish things wouldn't be like this. You lying because you benefit from the way capitalism works. You benefit from the way crime works. You benefit from the way racism works, and you benefit from the way cops look at all capitalism, crime, and racism in this country. Because I remember even with the protests, even the cops were like, "We surprised we arresting so many white people." It's funny how they arrested so many white people, but they wasn't shooting them in the face with rubber bullets. You notice that? I didn't see a lot of white people get shot up by them rubber bullets. I didn't hear about white people's faces swollen, losing eyes, because even the police know who to shoot rubber bullets at. But we don't want to play that game. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I saw that. I saw that on. I saw that. You had to double it up. This is gonna change it. This is gonna change a lot of things. Because what was that movie that J-Lo was in? With they were strippers. They were strippers robbing, I think, Wall Street type guys. Think about it. Even using that, was it Cardi B, I think, and J-Lo. If those were black strippers, see, even a 50-year-old Jennifer Lopez could get in the movie. I could be a stripper and I could rob white guys. Yeah. How? See, that's not something. That's something black strippers wind up getting beat or shot for or locked up for. A lot of these scams and they get got. But these other women think, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's stupid stuff. Now, I'm going to get out of here for now. I might come back later. I got to catch up with Lowcast, see what he on. Because me and him are supposed to go live. That's why I got to get out of here, because I got to make sure he up. But appreciate y'all for rocking with me. It's been an hour. Thank you. We out.